Pokemon has been going long and strong for over 15 years now, but does Generation 1 still hold up today? Today's theory was sparked by Facebook user Skull Ripper. They posted something interesting about an individual who stated that the original red, blue, and yellow Pokemon games were the worst games ever because they were 8-bit and lacked color. I am withholding that individual's name because they already have received enough hate. But long story short, they basically said things didn't get good until Generation 2. Now before you start to facepalm and say, "But Proto!" I already know. So the theory will be, does Generation 1 hold up in comparison to the rest by today's standards? Let's begin by analyzing the 5 pillars that make a game: graphics, sound, control, story, and gameplay. Beginning with graphics, Generation 1 is slightly lacking, but because of the nice 8-bit grid-like style that has been in most every game to date, this is easily forgiven. And originally, Pokemon Green's sprites were pretty bad. When brought over to America, the sprites were all redrawn to look better, and once again redrawn when Pokemon Yellow was released. Overall, the graphics are not on par with a 4K TV, nor are they cutting-edge 3D, but most players would forgive the lack thereof due to its familiarity. The other part of the graphics has something to do with the individual mention about the lack of color. This was corrected later when things like the Super Game Boy and the Game Boy Color were released. The original Red and Blue only had a small color palette, but it was still there, and Yellow had a lot more colors. So claiming that Generation 1 is terrible because it was black and white is a bit of an overstatement. On to sound. While sometimes some noises are a bit annoying, beeping when low on health, some of the cries and screech attack, oh my god, screech. But aside from a few annoying sounds, the music is among some of the most memorable that there is, and even some of the most chilling. Do I have to play it? But Proto! Alright, let's get off the music and move on to control. It's easy to move the character in the game. There are only a few buttons, and almost anyone can figure out how to navigate the menu. There are few games easier to control. A, B, start, select, and the D-pad. Simple yet effective. Control means nothing without a good story though. So, does Generation 1 have one? Yes, right off the bat, tasked to catch them all. As the player progresses through the game, more challenges present themselves in the form of becoming the best trainer and defeating a crime organization. Not only one story is told, but 3, with several surprises, twists, and turns. Almost like a story within a story. Pokemon, Inception before it was a movie. But what about gameplay? Maybe the most important thing about a game. The goal of Pokemon and gameplay coincide: strategy, battles, and catching Pokemon. The gameplay mechanics are more advanced rock, paper, scissors systems. Learning type advantages and mixing in status and stat changes are all what's required to win. It's not difficult learning what moves work, like trial and error. The game even explains everything you need to know early on by having NPCs talk to the player. It even explains how to catch a Pokemon in the case the player didn't know. So, overall, gameplay may be slow at times, requiring a little grinding here or there, but with enough repels, getting through caves and grassy areas is pretty simple. Now, with all that information, I want you, the viewer, to recall how you felt playing Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow the first time. Would you personally put it in the top 10 worst games of all time? They say ignorance is bliss, and if that's true, then this is hell. For me, Generation 1 is one of the most fun games to play. But this wasn't about the game itself, but rather if it still holds up today. So first off, how easy is it to get the game? Well, you can legitly get this game off of eBay for around $20 with a working Game Boy Color for $20 more. So roughly $40 to play the originals, legitly, or free if you like to use ROMs. I'm not advocating for ROMs, but they do help a lot. ROMs remove the need for you to have a friend plus a game link cable, and the friend to have bought the opposite game. Hey, wanna trade? Yeah, sure. What did you need? Oh, just all the Pokemon from Blue version. Oh, sorry, I have Red. Fuck! ROMs eliminate this problem by allowing codes to be input into the system without the game shard, and allows for some pretty interesting results as well. And they help make recording much easier. So being able to get the games are about 10 times easier today. Generation 1 is compatible with Game Boy systems up to the Game Boy SP, so it's definitely not impossible to play these older games. And finally, does it work? By today's standards, one of the single most important things is, will it play? Yes, popping it in, the Game Boy, turning it on, and starting a game takes literally seconds. There is no updating, no connecting, no DRM checks, and no installation. Amazing, a game from 1998 can outshine many of the games released today. Now that all of that is done, what do you think, comment section? Is Generation 1 possibly the worst game of all time, or one of the best masterpieces available? Let me know in the comments below. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go get my Game Boy. Pokemon Yellow's calling my name. Thanks for watching, and please remember to like and share my work with others. If you got a theory burning in your mind, let me know down below. I have been your host, Protomario, and I'm signing out. Good gaming, and God bless. And now comes the all-important decision of supporting the Maverick Army. Join the Maverick Rebellion today. Subscribe and become a Maverick. We are a tight-knit community who desire to change the gaming stereotype into something better. Together, we will revolutionize the world of gaming and the way gaming is viewed on YouTube and across all platforms. Mavericks unite. Subscribe today and become a Maverick with us. I'm Protomario, and I approve this message. Please note that in all my videos, if I use images from Google, that I do not own any of those images, and all images obtained from Google are owned by their respective owners and copyrights. So please remember this when watching my Pokemon theories. Thanks.